There is one country in the world that is taken for granted more than any other place.
Wow.
This country has citizens living all over the world to help you and I, to help the elderly, the sick, the poor, and many of them go totally unnoticed. When I told you that they
Hi guys! Welcome back to Join Chatterbox.
Welcome everyone.
Today's gonna be another awesome video because we're gonna be reacting to what would the world do without the Philippines video.
Right, yeah, this is very interesting, guys. Why? Because there is a question, what would the world do without the Philippines? By the way, guys, I'm originally from the Philippines, so I'm very excited as well, right? Because someone actually suggested on this link, and then I had actually checked on it, and I was like, wow, this is very nice, you see. But, well, I'm actually now based in the UK, but of course, my homeland is in the Philippines. So here I am right now. I'm going to react on this. And it seems very interesting as well. And at the same time, mind you, in the Philippines, seriously speaking, it is such a beautiful country too. Not only that, with all this 7,000, I think that's like, before it was 7,176 islands, I reckon, but now it's actually more than, you see, like 7,600, something like that. Sorry, but then, you know, it's actually more fun in the Philippines as well. And of course, not only the Philippines, but of course, all over the world, you see, including the UK. And of course, this one, I'm going to check this out. And by the way, darling, are you interested in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm actually really excited for this video because I've been there before.
Absolutely, yeah, it's really beautiful as well. Well, without further ado, before we begin this, for those who haven't subscribed yet, please do not forget to
subscribe, like this video, and comment down below for any suggestions.
That's right. You might be wondering why I'm not really speaking in Tagalog. You know, I can speak Tagalog like Filipino, but unfortunately it's not really that fluent, you see, because I come, came from down south, somewhere down south the Philippines. It's called the Zamboanga city, which is actually called the Asia's Latin city. So it's actually more on Spanish Creole language that I actually speak. So anyway, yes. So I will try to speak in Tagalog, okay, and even our, my Chabacano language. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started.
There is one country in the world that is taken for granted more than any other place.
Wow.
This country is home to the kindest individuals with incredible love for life. They're responsible for inventing video games, baby incubators for rural areas, and they also play a massive role in the invention of chips that we use in so many of our computers today. This country has citizens living all over the world to help you and I, to help the elderly, the sick, the poor, and many of them go totally unnoticed. When I told you that they are taken for granted,
wow, I have to stop from there. Yes, truly though, because
38 seconds.
I know, darling, because I felt so emotional anyway, because it is really true. Sorry about that. Yeah, Filipinos, especially us, we have this culture as well, that we must respect the word R, respect that we normally teach, especially to our children, because all our forefathers, our parents as well, they used to teach us, and we have also our extended families that really have to respect them as well, the elderly, you see. So we're actually all over the world, we're actually like, when we get to work, we're totally hardworking people as well. And of course, I used to work as well as a healthcare assistant before, and my heart, was so happy, because it is actually a rewarding experience, especially working the elderly. When actually Regan has actually mentioned about the elderly to look after, and yes, it is really indeed. And for me, to be honest with you, the Filipino people, very kind, and we're very like giving the extra mile as well, you see. So that's how we are really. So anyway, I have to continue, okay?
I meant it. With scarce opportunities, many family members make the tough decisions to go and work overseas so that they can better provide for their loved ones.
It's true.
The Filipino government has capitalized on this phenomenon and is actively exporting people for profit, bringing over $30 billion a year into the country.
Yes.
In fact, the Philippines is the top supplier of nurses in the world, with about 25% of all overseas nurses coming from the country.
Wow, yes, I have to stop from there. Oh my. Well, in the Philippines, we call this OFW. Well, I used to be an OFW, overseas. It actually stands for, overseas Filipino workers. Well, I actually left the Philippines when I was 19.
Wow.
And I began to, it was a direct hire. Yeah, it was a direct hire from Thailand to teach English. And after I graduated from university, I actually got a job there with the rest of the 10 of us, all Filipinos as well. Newly fresh graduate, and that's how we are really. Because the main reason why we're doing that, because our main priority is to help our families, to help our parents, that we have this, heart to help other people. And when we actually work, whenever we receive our paycheck or salary, to be honest with you, we just actually, if 100% salary, normally we actually tend to give 80% of our salary back home and then leave 10%, and then the rest we just actually get some tutorial, something like that. So that's how we are Filipino people. You see, we're very, very helpful, and we're thinking of our families back home, and even now. And talking about the 25% all overseas nurses, true indeed. Why? Because my elder sister is actually a nurse as well. She's now residing in America. She's also a registered nurse. Truly though, yeah, most of us actually truly help, not only in the Philippines but all over the world, you see. And so the SSS, that stands for Social Security Service. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So whenever we actually receive our paycheck, and that's how we actually send some money back. So that's how we are, guys. Filipinos are like that. Sometimes we just don't think of ourselves anymore. We just actually think of other people. So anyway, because of love. Sorry, I got carried away. All right, continue, darling.
And especially now, during COVID, the demand for Filipino caregivers and nurses is higher than ever. Without the Philippines, the world might look something like this.
Oh, that's very touching.
7,641 with a total landmass of 300,000 square kilometers. These breathtakingly beautiful islands are known for their agriculture, and they're home to over 35% of the world's coral reefs.
Wow.
Without the Philippines, we would lose an invaluable amount of the dwindling supply of coral reefs that we have left. The luscious soil on the islands is so rich and fertile that crops can be planted all year round. So with no Philippines, there would be a huge shortage in the production of imported coconuts, bananas, and tropical fruits from all around the world. As a blossoming and developing tech giant, the Philippines is known as the text capital of the world.
Oops. Before we talk to the text capital, it is true indeed with regards to the natural resources. You see, we're very rich, especially in agriculture. There are loads of farmers as well, you see, who are actually working back in the Philippines. That's how they actually live, that's their livelihood, and that's how they actually, make some business as well. And apart from that, I just mentioned about the islands. Yes, there are. Have you remembered how many islands?
7,164.
No.
640.
Excellent. Yeah, 7,641 islands. Wow, can you believe that? It's
I want to visit every one of them.
I really hope so too. It's really a shame, you see, because even me, I haven't even gotten to visit those islands. Only quite a few.
Yeah, we've only been to Santa Cruz, Cebu.
Right, yes. Manila and Zamboanga City, in Basilan.
And
where else? Yeah, Dumaguete. Where else? See, that's really a shame. Boracay Island. Yeah, that's the only place. Could you see that? I'm from the Philippines. I haven't even been
I
those
remember.
places.
Some of you guys might know the Chocolate Hills. Is it called the Chocolate
Well,
Hills?
that is in Bohol. Yeah, we've been there, actually.
Bohol and the Tarsiers and stuff.
Yeah, because when you know what, when I was little, we used to stay in our house. We just actually studied, and we just actually, do our own thing. Really, we really studied hard. We tried to our very best. So I really hope that I could take my daughter as well over there to explore.
Yeah.
Would you love that?
Yeah.
That will be great, you see. And now going back, this is about the text capital.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
Let's get started.
Yes.
Where the country sends in excess of 400 million text messages every single day.
Oh,
And
goodness.
just so you can get a sense of how much
Look, how
To
many?
text their families.
400 million. See, that's how we are.
No.
We don't even. You know why? Because we just love to text. Then we have to.
Text.
Yeah, we call that load some credit to put in our phone. So that we could actually text our families, our relatives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, everyone. Sometimes you see even like a second, you just have to text, and then later and there's a message coming, then they have to text again, then message coming. You see, that's how
they
we
like
are.
to talk a lot. So
Absolutely.
They say one message like, "Hi, how are you?" and all of a sudden it turns into a 1 hour conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. The only thing that I have noticed, by the way, is actually the words, especially when we text, because for me, you see, to be honest with you, I rather actually have a complete letter, like complete correct spelling.
Like just a whole letter list.
but
Send it to them.
That's right, but the text spelling actually is more on a shortcut. There's so many like cryptic thing that you could actually just have to find out what are they talking about, something like that, you see. So I really hope that will be going to, stop. What I mean, like, it would be nice if we are going to text in a proper, right word spelling. However, because of the text of the load that they have to pay, because they're actually limited words there, otherwise they have to pay extra. That is the reason why they really have to write in a short way. But that is actually the main thing, though. It's pretty intelligent in a way, because people can actually get the right meaning of that, even though it's not in a correct spelling, that they can understand what you're talking about. Okay, let's get to that.
I love this country. There are two things that you should look at. One, the heart-wrenchingly intimate care that families give their elders. As a country with massive poverty issues, many families are not able to afford care, so caring for those who have reached an older age has become deeply embedded in the backbone of their society. Young children are often taught to greet their elders with a
Mano po. That's right. That is actually one of our cultures that we really must actually learn our children, even though, Filipino people actually married to another, from another country. So they really have to practice this one, because this is actually our, sign of respect, the mano po, not only for the parents, but when we actually see our aunties, uncles, lolos, lolas, our grandfathers, or even who is older than us, then we really have to mano po them, So it's actually kind of blessing, you see. And apart from that, this is a very good gesture as well. So that's why, I always teach my daughter as well to do the mano po. Apart from me, sometimes when I ask my, like tita or tito, what I mean uncles and aunties, okay, mano po, you see. So in Chabacano, like down south, we call that besa mano, you see. So that is so nice, you see. So interesting. And true though, we really love our parents, especially also our grandparents too. Okay, mano po.
gesture called mano po to express profound respect. 2.
Yes.
The Philippines is the gold standard in Asia for how women should be treated in society. The Global Gender Gap Rankings Index had New Zealand and Philippines directly competing for the top 2 spots over the past 10 years, blowing other East Asian countries far out of the water, beating the US and many other mainstream developed countries by a long shot. The bottom line is that without the Philippines, the world would be less flavorful and not nearly as charming, and definitely a lot less magical. So in order to sustain one of the most important and resourceful places on the earth, As much as we need them, we also have to meet that need with an equal measure of appreciation. Living in the Philippines is not always easy. There are people living in very tough situations, and there are many places that are soaked in poverty. And that's why so many families are making the sacrifice of sending their loved ones overseas. In the beginning of this video, I said that the Philippines is the place in this world that is most taken for granted, and I stand by that statement. A big part of my company, Regan Hillyer International, is employing people within the Philippines. These people are a very big part of my heart, and I made this video to show my massive gratitude to one of, I believe, the best countries on the planet. Please join me in thanking the Philippines. And right, thank you Philippines. Maybe even tag in a Filipino who you know and love and who you want to acknowledge today. Let's share this video to show appreciation and to show the rest of the world what an amazing place the Philippines is. My name is Regan Hillyer, and thank you so much for watching.
Wow.
Wow.
What would the world do without the Philippines? Well, I'm crying because I'm really touched and emotional upon listening to Regan Hillyer. Thank you so much, Miss Regan Hillyer, for actually sharing this video to us. Yeah, what would the world do without the Philippines? As a matter of fact, we are just simple people. We are here to help, and we are just actually doing our part as well. And of course, we just like give and take. You see, when we have the job, then that's what we actually do, help one another and encourage one another. Yes, I also take a stand, and even me, as a Filipina as well, who lives here in the UK now, you see, and here's my daughter. Yeah, I would like to say thank you so much, especially to all our frontliners, the OFW, you know, for you are actually working very hard. Maraming salamat po. Because we know that it is not easy, especially when you're away with your families, you see, and then after working so hard, and then, you know, when you receive your paycheck, and then that's the time
you're so
actually,
happy.
Yeah, actually, yes, then sent back to the Philippines, yeah. And yes, as what Miss Regan actually mentioned, that true though, it is really not easy to live in the Philippines because some people there are also experiencing like poverty line. So for us here, who is actually, you know, overseas, if you have something to share, or you know, something that you can actually give, then you know, it is so nice. It would be lovely if you could do that. And apart from that, I'm really happy as well because, you know, the Filipino people, specifically, I think all over the world, when you get to see them, to be honest with you, they are everywhere. We are everywhere. We are like sugar sprinkling, you know. However, though, for some other nationalities, what I mean is, I just really hope that you are gonna treat us with respect as well as what, you know, we do the same way. And yes, and they're also, well, they're actually, well, when we talk in general, you see, shall we say, not all Filipino are good, you know what I mean? Well, it's just the same as the whole people in the world, you know. There's some of them that are good, and, you know, but the thing that I'm actually trying to imply to everybody is that, yes, it is true. What would the world do without the Philippines, without the Filipino people? A simple, you know, thank you and appreciate them. For me, I always pray for all the frontliners, Filipinos, and all over the world, all nationalities really in particular, because we're going to help one another. We stand as one. We are one. That's why we're living here in this world with meaning and purpose. So ako po ay nagpapasalamat. And also this for me, Regan, sorry, I actually got so emotional because I'm really missing now my parent, you know, my mom was now in the Philippines. So see, she's there now, but I believe that, you know, thank God that someone's looking after my mother as well, you see. So I'm really thankful and grateful. Anyway, what have you learned as well there, sweetheart?
I learned about what would the world do without the Philippines, and it's really good to know that they like to help their family.
Indeed,
And
that's
I
true.
like all the beaches. And,
Yes,
and I saw a
especially the
turtle,
nature.
and I like that. There's like they text a lot for like their families and friends.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and then they the road wouldn't have like any coral,
Yes.
like stuff like that, and about the fruits and vegetables, and about the poverty and stuff like
Right,
that.
that's right.
So yeah,
Yeah, true though. So
Yeah.
guys, support the Philippines, okay?
yeah, support them.
Yes.
Hashtag support the Philippines.
Yes, hashtag support the Philippines, support the OFW, because they are, you know what, in our hearts, they're all heroes because they actually sacrifice themselves, you see, to go to different countries to work for their families. You know, this is not all about themselves or ourselves, it's all about all of us. We
Yeah.
really have to involve one another, help one another, and also, of course, support and give respect as well.
Yeah.
And thank you so much,
Thank
Ms. Regan
you.
Hillyer. We really appreciate a lot. And for those who have dropped by, please do not forget to
Subscribe, like this video, and comment down below for any suggestions.
yes, please join our John Chatterbox
Oh,
channel. And thank you very much indeed. And we love you. And I'm so glad
Yeah.
because this is such a very heartwarming and heart-touching video link that I really am so grateful. Thank God that, you know,
Thank you.
I really hope that you will not take, you know, the Filipinos for granted. Okay? Because we treat you special people, and I hope you also treat us the same way. All right? We love you. Thank you very much indeed. God bless. On our next vlog.
Vlog.
Thanks. Bye.
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 Bye.